Summer sport.
Right. Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live, powered by Radio. The match number 2 of the Commonwealth Games will be played between Pakistan and Barbados today, that is 29th of July, and it will start at 10:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The match will be played at Edgbaston in Birmingham. But before previewing match number 2 of the Commonwealth Games, let us have a quick look at match number 1. It was played between India and Australia, which Australia went on to win by just 3 wickets. Batting first, India posted a competitive score of 154 for 8 in 20 overs, thanks to captain Harmanpreet Kaur, who scored a brilliant 52, and Shefali Verma, who chipped in with a useful contribution of 48. On the other hand, for Australia, it was their wily left-arm spinner in Jess Jonassen who wreaked havoc with the ball, picking up 4 for 22 in her 4 overs. In reply, Australia did not get off to the best of starts as they lost half of their side for just 49 runs. However, Grace Harris and Ashley Gardner had some other plans as they came together and steadied the Australia's sinking ship. While Gardner scored a brilliant unbeaten 52, Grace Harris chipped in with 37 of just 20 balls. On the other hand, for India, it was Renuka Singh Thakur who was the most successful bowler as she picked up 4 for 18 in her 4 overs. So this was in brief the summary of match number 1 that was played between India and Australia. So before we start previewing the match between Pakistan and Barbados, let us have some quick thoughts from the two Indian fans out here in Dhanush Lavanya and Neha Shetty. But sorry, before I ask you this question, let me give you a brief introduction of all the three guests that we have today. So we have Dr. Anand Ram Prasad from West Indies, of course. He has a specialization in sociology of sport and is a columnist with Trinidad Guardian. Then we have Neha Shetty, who is an avid cricket follower and a cricket podcaster. And we have Dhanush Lavanya, who is a cricket content writer, cricket analyst, and a cricket podcaster. So I welcome all of you to Female Cricket Live.
Hello, nice to be here.
Same,
Thank
same
you.
here, sir. All right.
Thank
So,
you.
Dhanush, can we have your first thoughts on the India-Australia game?
Well, as I said, we almost replicated the same performance that we did in the 2020 T20 World Cup when we faced Australia in the first match, where India won in that match. But this time we were almost in that situation. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, when it comes to those crunch situations, it's the team that holds up until the end that's going to be the one winning the match. And the way the Australians played in the last few overs were just amazing. And we were discussing like how the big names like Alisa Healy, Meg Lanning, Beth Mooney, Rachel Haynes, these will be the ones who will be the talking point of the batting unit. But it was not these girls. It was Ashley Gardner. It was Grace Harris. I didn't have Grace Harris in my playing 11 at first place. So you can just see how the team is all together. It's not just the playing 11, it's even the substitutes who come into the side when given opportunity and they utilize it in this fashion. It's just amazing to see. And the way they played this game, bringing back Australia into the match, and the way they have totally performed altogether is something that I'm really happy to see. But tough luck for Team India, I guess. But still, there are two more games against Barbados and arch rivals Pakistan, and I'm confident that they will win those.
Absolutely. So, I think as Dhanush mentioned about Grace Harris, of course, she was a surprise package, not only for us, but I think also for Australia. Nobody would have expected her to score that well. All right. So, Neha, when Australia was struggling at 49 for 5, did you, I think, just like me, thought that maybe India have registered their first win of the Commonwealth Games?
I was so confident that India might really go on to win the match. I mean, that being 5 wickets down at that stage in the match, it really looked like Australia was like out of the game. But then it really goes to show what a class unit they are. They're so confident, they believe in themselves, the batting is so deep, and the match is never really over with them till you like go and play the last ball. So super impressive performance, from them, and good to see this happening in a Commonwealth game, cliffhanger match to start off the proceedings with. But as an ardent Indian fan, it was quite heartbreaking to say the least.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let us hope that India is able to put up a better show against Pakistan on 31st of July and, of course, against Barbados in the coming days. All right, so now let us pull back our discussion to the preview of match number two that will be played between Pakistan and Barbados. We are just few hours away from the game. So, Dr. Anand, how excited are you to see Barbados playing the Commonwealth Games?
I'm very excited for Barbados, and I think having seen the completed regional tournament in June, I think the best team is representing the West Indies in this tournament, and they have actually seven West Indies players on the Barbados team, and one player, Shanika Bruce, who was on the A side last year when they played Pakistan. So I'm very excited for this Barbados team, and I think in today's game against Pakistan, they are going to put up a fight. I think this is the game in which they have a chance, maybe to strike an upset, as opposed to against Australia or India. But I'm looking forward to their performance today. And I say this because of the fact that they have some very important West Indian players in their team, both in terms of batting as well as in bowling.
Absolutely. So I think, as Dr. Anand has mentioned about some of the players, I think seven of them are already a part of the West Indian team, including big names like Haley Mathers, Deandra Doughton, and of course Shanika Bruce, I think, who was the leading wicket taker in women's T20 plays, a domestic T20 competition that just got over in West Indies. So before we start talking more about Pakistan, maybe Dr. Anand, I would like to ask you, can you tell us more about Shanika Bruce because she was the highest wicket taker in the T20 Blaze competition?
Right. Shanika is a medium fast bowler. She was in the West Indies as a reserve in the West Indies team that went to England and Ireland in 2019. And in 2021, she was part of the High Performance Development Program. And in 2021, she was also part of the West Indies A team that played the Pakistan A team in the Caribbean. And at the T20 tournament in June of this year, she was the leading wicket taker with 9 wickets. So she is someone that has performed well and has been growing with each year, and it's someone we will be looking forward to seeing playing more later on for the West Indies. But in this tournament, someone we can look forward to in terms of this Commonwealth Games.
Think all eyes will be on Barbados because they are not the typical international team. Unlike the other seven teams that we have for the Commonwealth Games, it is a domestic team, which of course has seven West Indian players out of the 15. All right, so moving on to Pakistan. So, Dhanush, let me ask you that just before the Commonwealth Games, Pakistan featured in the Tri Series, which included Ireland and Australia. The Tri Series was played in Ireland. So, how do you think this Tri Series would have helped Pakistan's preparations for the Commonwealth?
Yeah, one thing that I have been appreciative of Pakistan and Pakistan Cricket Board altogether is that post the World Cup, they have made this promise to themselves that they will be playing more matches and they will be giving their women a lot of opportunities to go out and play. And I guess amongst the international teams, they are the team who are going to play the most number of games, if I'm not wrong, in the next 5 6 months as well. So really hats off at first place to the board who have been so progressive when it comes to women's cricket. And also the way the preparation, as you said, in the Ireland series, certainly the results haven't gone their way. And it's not a team that you will bank on them any day because there are just a handful of experienced heads in that side, and majority it is a combination of youngsters and players who are still grooming in their careers. So definitely the amount of pressure or lifting that has to be done on the field must be done by the captain Bisma Maroof, who is making a big moment for herself yesterday, where we saw her carrying the flag during the opening ceremony. So definitely, that's a big moment for her. She's coming with that confidence into this match, and I guess that will play a big amount of motivation for the rest of the women in the squad as well. Along with that, there is Anam Amin and Nidadar, who are other two experienced heads. And Nidadar, if I'm not wrong, she's like one of the two women's cricketers in the world to have 100 plus wickets and 1,000 plus runs in T20s. So certainly these three women are going to be the key factor. Let me see. Barbados are also not the typical West Indian side that has a lot of big players in them. Even though there are 7 out of the 11 players are West Indian players altogether, but still, it's not the team that is going to be in contention. This is the best way to start for Pakistan so that they can gain confidence when they face India and Australia in the upcoming games.
So I think as Dhanush just touched upon that Pakistan, they have a couple of senior players and Captain Bisma Maroof, of course, and one of the best all-rounders in the world, Nida Dar. So Neha, let me ask you that apart from these two players, probably the rest of the team of Pakistan looks relatively inexperienced. You have Muniba Ali, yes, she's a good opening batter and a wicket keeper, but then the experience is not there. Then you have somebody like Iram Javed, Diana Beg also. But how do you see the rest of the team shaping up going into the Commonwealth Games?
Considering that the bulk of Pakistan's performance depends on these senior players, I understand that they do have inexperience as well that reeks through their lineup. But I expect the veterans and the seniors to carry the to be flag bearers and actually help bring out good performances as well. But talking about inexperience too, it kind of presents the world new players, right? We don't know what to expect from these unknown commodities. And talking about young players too, Tuba Hassan is an exciting talent, and I think she also won the ICC Player of the Month award too recently. Now she like in during the World Cup wasn't in the main playing 11, but she still made her debut a few months back and registered some amazing figures in her 4 overs that also saw her register like some best figures on debut, right? So that goes to show that they have the depth. They just need to get the right opportunities to showcase them. And as Dhanush said, with more matches coming up, we will see these players get those right opportunities. But this Commonwealth Games will be crucial to get those players and give them the right platform to actually perform and deliver.
Yes, I think just to add to Neha's point, Tuba Hassan, of course, a young right arm leg spinner from Pakistan. She made her debut in May 2022, and in the very first month of her international career, she won ICC Player of the Month award. So that goes to show probably the depth that Pakistan women's cricket have, which probably most of us are not aware of. All right, so moving on to you, Dr. Anand, Haley Mathis, of course, is going to be the captain of Barbados. So after Stephanie Taylor's, we can say captainship tenure, it has been Haley Mathis' team now. So how excited are you to see Haley Mathis captaining the side, and what do you think will be your approach going forward?
I'm very happy that Healy Matthews has taken over the captaincy of the West Indies team, and she has also captained Barbados and led them to the CG 50 tournament, 50 overs tournament in June, rather convincingly. And they were runners up in the T20 tournament. And she was very dominant in that tournament. She made 187 runs and took um, 8 wickets in the 50 overs and 191 runs and 6 wickets in the T20. And she said that she was using that tournament as part of Barbados' preparation for the Commonwealth Games. And I think she is looking forward to these games and leading Barbados to perform. And I think there isn't much pressure on Barbados as it may be for the other three teams because everyone expects to beat Barbados. Compared to, I mean, Australia is expected to win, India is expected to win, and even Pakistan. So I think Barbados is going into that competition. They want to do well, but they don't carry the same pressure as the other teams in terms of winning. And you also have these players, Dotting, you have the Knight sisters, you have Cornell, you have Salman, who have played international cricket and have played with Matthews. And I think that is important that these are players who have played with her and it will help her in her captaincy. And again, I at least for this game, I expect to see a good outing from the Barbados team. And again, I would not be totally surprised if they pull off this game given the fact that you have so much senior West Indies players in this team coming up against Pakistan.
So maybe just to add to your whatever you have said, Dr. Anand. So just like Pakistan, they are probably more or less dependent on veterans like Nida Dar and Bisma Maroof. Do you think that this Barbados team will be more dependent on somebody like a Haley Matthews and Deandra Doughton?
Oh yes, I think the batting is going to be heavily dependent on four players. You have Haley Matthews, Dotting, and the Knight sisters. Aliyah Allen is an all-rounder, so she can make a contribution. But if we go back to the Blaze tournament in the Caribbean, a lot of the batting that was performed by Barbados were carried by the top four. So you can say that the Barbados team is going to be top heavy in terms of their batting, and then when it comes to bowling, you would have Selman, Connell, Matthews as well. I'm not too sure whether Dotting will be bowling. And then you have Bruce as well. The bowling attack is going to be more or less very much one dimensional with a heavy emphasis on seam bowling. Matthews will be probably the lone spinner on the team. But so the batting order is going to be top heavy in those four players. And then in terms of bowling, you're going to have a lot of seam up with Matthews bowling her off spin.
So, Dr. Anand, I think you just said that we don't know whether Deandra Doughton is going to bowl or not. But honestly, I want her to bowl because we all remember what she did in the very last over of the first World Cup match against New Zealand, and that historic over that she bowled, and she was able to, pull off that upset for West Indian team. All right,
Yes.
so let us hope that she is fit and fine, and we get to see her bowl. All right. So, Dhanush, moving on to you. On paper, if we see Pakistan's bowling looks much stronger than its batting. So, what do you think should the Pakistani batters do against Barbados tomorrow? How should they try to put in more runs so that they give some chance to the bowlers?
It's just good batting they need to do. I guess any team that goes out there, irrespective of how the opposition bowling is, they just need to make sure that the ball connects to the bat really well. They are hitting in the middle of the bat and they are trying to score runs. One of the major things that Pakistan wasn't doing in the World Cup was playing too defensive style of batting, which we criticized a lot during our discussions as well. And we saw that Pakistan West Indies match. That was the only game where Pakistan were competitive and in the stage of winning it until the rain came and did the spoil sport for them. But but if you see the way, if you ask me how the batting unit has to play, I will just say that they need to make sure that they play they will definitely have to play well against the pacers, like how Dr. Anand said. It's going to be a pace heavy attack, and they need to just make sure that they find their line and lengths perfectly, and they just attack the areas that they are very good at, and that's the best way to make sure that they can score runs. Definitely, the bowling has promise in it, but it's the batting that needs to step up. And let us hope that they perform to their capacities. And if they show their capacity, that's going to be enough, is what I feel against Barbados.
Right. So let us hope that Pakistan batters as a unit they are able to click against Barbados so that we get to see an exciting contest of cricket between the two teams. So Neha, who do you think could be the players to watch out for from the Pakistan team according to you?
Right. So the players to watch out for obviously are Bisma Maroof. Now a lot rests on the skipper because she has been a bankable commodity for Pakistan for long, and at the global stage too, she would seek. Inspiration from the consistent exploit she did as a youngster. She's helped Pakistan qualify for so many World Cups, and she's also effective with her bowling. Right, her effective leg breaks are crucial, and she has 36 T20 scalps so far. So I think she definitely adds a different dimension to the Pakistani bowling attack as well, besides her batting, and she can play the role of an anchor in case wickets fall. Now Nida Dar is another person, right? Now she is your another very bankable all-rounder, and she has been in the system for quite a lot of time. And as Dhanush also pointed out, she's one among the few cricketers to have the distinction of picking up 100 wickets and scoring 1,000 runs. And playing against this West Indies team, against this Barbados team, she can look to make the most of the conditions and actually contribute. So these two players, I am definitely looking forward to.
All right. So let us take this discussion to a different topic, maybe. So, Dr. Anand, today we saw the match that was being played between India and Australia, and I just read that it was a hybrid pitch that was on offer. So, I just read about this hybrid pitch. So, it is a combination of natural grass and artificial fiber. Now, the reason for using hybrid pitch is that they want to play all the 16 games in the Commonwealth Games on that same wicket. So, this pitch is something which can undertake more wear and tear compared to the conventional pitches that we have on offer. So, according to you, how could the pitch play when Pakistan take on Barbados in just an hour's time?
I think once the pitches are true and you get good bonks, and there is once the batters have good bonks on both teams, which allows them to play their natural game, that is going to be a plus for the batting aspect of it. And then once there's good bonks as well, it will favor the offer some assistance to both the seamers and spinners, because spinners also need bonks. Bonks helps in whatever turn that they may get. So I think with the hybrid pitch, once the wear and tear is managed, or it allows for managing of the wear and tear, it should make for a good cricket wicket, and which will allow the batters to play their natural game, and which also offer the bowlers something. And I think we will get good cricket, and it really brings to the table the display on the execution of one's skills, both as batters as well as fielders. And something I would have said when we went for the last World Cup as well, that catches win matches. And that is something that will go along with this tournament as well. We may have good batting, we may have good bowling, but it has to be supported by good fielding, both in terms of taking catches, executing runouts, and also the amount of runs that will be saved fielding. That is going to be another key component into this tournament. And as the teams execute their skill sets, that is something that can make a difference. And maybe in the game this morning, that would have made a difference as well. The fielding component.
Absolutely. Dr. Anand, you're pretty right in saying that catches will win matches, and let us hope to see a good fielding effort that is put forth by all the teams in the Commonwealth Games. So, Dhanush, in the match today that was played early in the day, right, between India and Australia, we saw more than 300 runs being scored. As you were discussing earlier, that it is going to be a batting wicket, and also the outfield was lightning quick, if we can see that. So, what do you think could be the par score going into the match between Pakistan and Barbados?
Again, I'll say it's 150 minimum, and you need to score that. That's going to be a norm. That's going to be the minimum score. If you have to be confident coming into second innings with the ball, you need to score 150 and odd. That was chased down in the first match against by Australia, but I feel that anywhere the scores will be between 150 to 180. This whole tournament is what I personally feel. And the only thing is, the Barbados team will come out all guns blazing, and with the likes of Deandra Doughton and Haley Matthews and the Knight sisters, and being such aggressive batters at first place, we saw that showcase in the World Cup. They scored like 100 runs in 12 overs in one of the matches. So certainly, we know that West Indies have, no, not the West Indies, the Barbados have the capacity in them to score quick runs. And with the lightning fast outfield, that the first 6 overs are going to be really crucial for the Barbados batting unit. Like how Deanna Doughton and Haley Matthews, if she opens the batting, it's going to be key for those two women to stand in there, play the maximum amount of overs, score maximum amount of runs, and on the other side, it's Pakistan, who are really defensive when it comes to their batting, and it's something that they need to step up, and it is a process. It's going to take its time, but this is the right moment to start. And I feel that it's a great opportunity for them to score some quick runs. I'm looking forward to see how Muniba Ali is going to be playing. She played a couple of games in the World Cup in the fag end of the tournament, and she was impressive in the couple of games that she played. So I'm really looking forward for her performance as well. And I want to ask this question to Dr. Anand. Will we see Haley Matthews opening the batting with Deandra Doughton, or will she be coming in the middle order at number 4, number 5 in order to hold the middle order and be that stable at the anchor of the innings?
Well, in the T20 Blast, she opened the batting with Kaiser Knight. Um, and with Dotting not playing in that tournament, and she was very successful. So I think that with this tournament, it is possible that they may continue with Knight and Matthews, or they may have Matthews batting maybe number three or number four and allowing Dotting to open the batting. But one of the things I observed during the regional tournament with the captaincy is that we saw Matthews in a very measured way. There were games where you had the Knight sisters were scoring faster than Matthews, and she was actually ensuring that she stayed, she anchored innings. And this is something I think is part of maturity, and maybe as taking on the captaincy, we will be seeing moving forward, where she is going to be more measured in how she approaches her batting without losing the effectiveness of her batting as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who they open with. She has done very well as an opener, but then you have Dotting, who also is very explosive as an opener as well.
So let us see that whether it is Dottin Matthews opening the batting, or maybe Dottin or Kaisia Knight, as Dr. Anand is hinting at. All right. So before we start, before we start taking questions from our fans, let us have some quick predictions from all three of you. Neha, if we can start with you, you can predict the score and the team you think could win the match today.
Right. So Pakistan obviously has not been, showcasing consistent performances in any format, and they are an unpredictable side who can, just do wonders in the day. But they lack accuracy, which is probably going to be a thorn in their success. But I think all eyes will be on Bisma Maroof and how she leads the team. I still feel Barbados may come out on the winning side, because Pakistan, again, consistency is something that they tackle with a lot. So yeah, prediction is probably, Barbados going for the win.
I'm sure Dr. Anand is quite happy with this prediction. So,
Yes,
Dr. Dr. Anand, let us hear from you.
I'm going with the fact that Barbados did very well in our regional tournament, and I think what I will favor Barbados to win this game is that the fact that you have so many players from the West Indies team, so they're accustomed playing at a high level. And the starting 11 is more or less going to have all seven of them plus Bruce. So you're basically starting with a West Indies team minus three players who have had experience playing at the highest level. You have a captain who is enjoying herself, and I think she wants to demonstrate that why she is captain of both West Indies and Barbados, and she has the players to go with. And and Pakistan, I've always said Pakistan and West Indies common, and it depends on which side of the bed they wake up on. In terms of their performance, they're so unpredictable. They're high today and they're low tomorrow. So you have a game, a clash of two teams that is possible, unpredictable. But I'm gonna go with Barbados to win this one.
All right. Great. So, Dhanush, finally, your predictions.
Yeah, absolutely. The last sentence that Dr. Anand said, which side of the bed they wake up, that depends on their performance. Certainly, I'm also banking my money on Barbados because if you see the batting unit, I feel Deandra Rotten moreover shadows Chris Gale in the women's format. So I feel like she is going to be the key player. Even if she opens the batting, it's going to be those first 6 overs that's going to be key for Barbados. If they get a good start, if they get the foundations right, and I guess they can do that because there will be Fatima Sana who is going to be sharing the new ball with Diana Baig, and Diana Baig hasn't taken a single wicket in this year, so she's not going through a good form. So certainly Fatima Sana is the player they need to see her off, but the rest of the bowling unit they can manage and score the maximum amount of runs. And even if you ask me, the bowling of Barbados is just filled with West Indian national players, right? So with Shamilia Connell, Shakira Salman, and Ali Alim. So with these experiences, and also Haley Matthews bringing in a spin as well, the batting and bowling look strong on the Barbados side, and I feel it's an opportunity for Pakistan to step up and show that they can perform against a side like Barbados, which is heavy on their big players. let us see how the result goes off. But according to me, on paper, like how I said, going into Australia's match, it was Australia that was good, that was winning on paper in that game, and I say it's Barbados winning this game.
All right. So all three votes for Barbados for today's game between Pakistan and Barbados, of course. All right. So we are getting some questions from our fans. So if we can take them one by one. All right. Roshan has this question for us. Tuba Hassan had good outing versus Sri Lanka at home, but do you see her having an international breakout during the Commonwealth Games? Neha, would you like to answer this?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think she's definitely going to have an international breakout during the Commonwealth Games because the platform is set. She has the backing of the skipper, and the opposition hasn't quite read her as yet. And considering she's relatively inexperienced, people will not know what to expect. So I'm definitely, backing her to have a good season this time around and probably a long career for Pakistan.
Great. All right. Can we have the next question? Okay, Rakesh is asking, with Barbados playing their first international game and it being against Pakistan, can't it possibly be one of the best? Nearly a fair matchup. I think Dr. Anand, what you were hinting at. Maybe if you can take this up.
Yes, I think this is going to be an exciting game because it's on paper. West Indies versus Pakistan, and as I said earlier on, it's two very unpredictable teams. There's the unknown factor because it's Barbados, but I think it should make for a good game. I think both teams have an opportunity to demonstrate what they have, and I'm hoping that it pans out like that. I'm hoping that we get a high scoring game as we got this morning, and then it's a game that has a lot to offer for both teams. And I think both teams will want to register those 2 points heading into their remaining last 2 games.
All right, great. Can we have the next question? Okay, Harish is asking us, how important is the pair of Deandra Doughton and Haley Mathers for Barbados? Who are the other batters to bank on? Dr. Anand, maybe again you would like to answer this.
Yeah, the batting is going to fall heavily on Matthews and Dotting in terms of the amount of runs they score, their strike rate as well. In terms of other batters, what we saw in the regional tournament is that Kaisaya Knight as well as Kaishona Knight also were carrying the batting. And especially Kaishona Knight, her strike rate in that tournament was much higher than in previous tournaments. So those four will carry the batting, and you have Aaliyah Allen, you have Aaliyah Williams, who is a all-rounder. She's a seamer who can also hit the ball in the middle overs. And then you have players like Salman as well, who can strike the ball to the back end of the innings. But generally speaking, the batting is going to fall on the top four.
All right. Okay. I hope Harish, Dr. Anand was able to answer your question. All right. So before we wind up today's discussion, maybe a common question to all of you. What do you think the captain winning the toss should do? Dhanush, if we can start with you.
I guess it's going to be bowl first. We were saying it's toss win and bat first in the first game. But seeing the first match result, which just happened hours before, I truly feel that the captain winning the toss will be choosing to bowl first. And if you tell me that, I guess if Barbados win the toss and it decides to bowl first, it's advantage to them because with the defensive batting style of Pakistan, they can restrict them to 120, 130 with their international quality fast bowling unit, and they can chase it off in ease if that's how the plan goes. But if Pakistan wins the toss, it's just whatever you do, you need to just do it with the best amount of effort possible, and that's the only way Pakistan can win this game is what I feel.
Right. Neha, do you agree with Dhanush or you have a different opinion?
I think I'm just going to contradict Dhanush on that one because I personally feel that the team winning the toss should definitely bat first because it really gives you the confidence to go out there and just express yourself. Just try to put the best score on board. Like try to aim for 150 plus as we previously discussed as well. And yeah, and chasing will probably get a little tricky. If Dew comes in and makes a big impact, but definitely batting first should be the way to go.
Right. Finally, Dr. Anand, what do you think? Will Haley Mathis do if she wins the toss today?
I'm gonna go with Nia, and if it is wins the toss, bat first and put a huge total on the table, and scoreboard pressure does the rest. Especially we know that Pakistan may have some challenges scoring in that power play. I think Barbados' advantage is really their batting. And to make full use of that, get the runs on the board, and then use scorer pressure and back their bowlers as fielders to defend that total.
All right. Great, great. It was amazing listening to all three of you and, of course, previewing the match between Pakistan and Barbados. So the match will be played at Edgbaston in Birmingham and it will start at 10:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So all the fans in India they can catch all the live action on Sony Live app as well as Sony Ten 1 channel. So we'll be back again tomorrow, that is 30th of July at 2 p.m. to preview the match between New Zealand and South Africa. So do join us for a conversation tomorrow at 2 p.m. Indian Standard Time and send us all your questions using hashtag Female Cricket Live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.